Dear students, yesterday we came to know about Sahib, a rag picker and his friends, those who go to collect rags at different garbage dumps. By noon they come back, and how Sahib has lost his carefree look, his freedom, his liberty, and now he is walking at a tea stop. Now we'll come to the second part of the story, The Lost Spring, and I'm going to talk about another boy. This boy's name is Mukesh, and he belongs to a bangle making family. So the part and title is I Want to Drive a Car. Mukesh insists on being his own master. I'll be a motor mechanic, he announces. In this line, you will get a question. The question may be, differentiate Sahib and Mukesh, or how Mukesh is different from Sahib. 2-3 important points you can add in the answer. You see, Sahib is contented, Sahib is satisfied, Sahib is gratified with the world he was living in. He was very happy with his profession, that is garbage collection, visiting garbage area, collecting 10 rupees, silver coin, that is gold for them, that all of us know. Similarly, Sahib, when he walked at a tea shop, he lost his carefree look, he lost his freedom, but he didn't have a big dream. He was okay with his family, with his profession. But when you come to talk about Mukesh, on the other hand, Mukesh is a child who thinks out of box, who thinks beyond the God-given lineage to the people of Firozabad. Firozabad is what? Firozabad is a city. It is known for bangle making in India particularly. And remember students, people of Firozabad are socially and economically backward. They are suffering from economic disparity. They are not highly rich, but they do hard labor. They are soldering bangles and selling it for all the women in our country. So Mukesh is a person who thinks out of box, who plans something beyond the boundary of this bangle making. So what does he dream? What does he think? He was very, very open. He told Anees Jung that I will be a motor mechanic. He announces. So this is his dream. It is his plan. So Mukesh is very practical. He is determined to achieve his goal in his life. Do you know anything about cars? I ask. I will learn to drive a car, he answers, looking straight into my eyes. That means somehow Mukesh is not highly ambitious. He was okay with motor mechanic and driving a car, only he has a plan for this. And that is why when Anees Jung asked him that would you like to drive a car, then he told that I want to learn to drive a car. His dream looms like a mirage amidst the dust of streets that fill his town Firozabad. What is looming like a mirage? His dream of driving a car looks like a mirage. It appears like a mirage. Mirage, all of us know. You feel that something is there, but that is not there. So why this dream is like a mirage? Because Firozabad is a city where if anyone thinks beyond bangle making, that is really impossible. Because God has given a very good gift to the people of Firozabad, and that gift is only bangle making. Anybody thinks or anybody attempts to do other professions beyond or besides bangle making, he is in bad luck. He is unfortunate to do that. He never gets success, as the history it says in the life of these bangle makers. That is why it's like a mirage in the history of this bangle making when Mukesh wants to drive a car. Famous for its bangles, every other family in Firozabad is engaged in making bangles. Meaning is clear. It is the center of India's glass brewing industry, where families have spent generations walking around furnaces. Furnaces means the fireplace where they go to solder and weld the bangles. They are sitting closer to that. Even children are there. Many children are there. Children, elders, they sit close to the furnace and they weld at the bangles. They prepare it for the people. Welding glass, making bangles for all the women in the land, it seems. I just told you. For our country, this Firozabad is famous for making bangles. Mukesh's family is among them. None of them know that it is illegal for children like him to work in the glass furnaces with high temperatures in dingy cells without air and light. You may get a question here. What was the miserable condition in which the bangle makers of Firozabad are engaged in doing their profession? Or maybe how the children in the city Firozabad are endangering their life, sitting closer to the furnace. You can write this line, you can underline this line here. They are sitting closer to high temperatures, to furnaces, in dingy cells, very small rooms without air and light. Imagine, without air and light, dingy cells, you have soldering and welding glasses, furnaces is there, the heat and temperature inside. Dangerous for the children, but they do. They have no other alternatives. That the law, if enforced, could get him all those 20,000 children out of the hot furnaces where they slog their daylight hours. Slogging their daylight hours means these 20,000 children sitting or very closer to the furnace with the elders and soldering glasses, making their life a darker one by sitting over there, causing problem to their eyesight. And if government comes to know that this is a kind of torture being done to the children, then perhaps these 20,000 children might be rescued. So they are losing their brightness of their eyes. Slog their daylight means they have been walking slowly, deliberately, in a tedious way. They are doing it and they have to do. They have no other options. But by doing this, they lose their eyesight. They lose the brightness and shining of their eyesight very soon before they become young. Mukesh's eyes beam as he volunteers to take me home. So when Mukesh was taking Anees Jung to his home, his eye was beam means his eyes were shining brightly. He was very happy to take Anees Jung to his home. He proudly says it is rebuilt. So there is a home, Mukesh's home actually, and he told that it is rebuilt. Okay, it is again going on. It is again going on right now. It is being constructed. We walk down stinking lanes, choked with garbage, past homes that remain hovels. Hovels means small, dirty, constructed building. So these are the things they pass by when they go to the home of Mukesh. And crumbling wall means walls are very weak walls. If you just push it, it will fall down. Wobbly doors, very weak doors. It may fall if you go to just hit it. No windows, crowded with families of humans and animals coexisting in a primeval stage. Primeval stage means very ancient stage. You might have seen people and animals, they are staying together. If you visit Barampur site, you can see there are still some places in the town itself. When you go to their home inside, first of all you have to cross the cattle shed area where the cattle are there. Then in between them there is a way to enter into the main building. It happens, so they are staying together. In the same way, in Firozabad also, you can see Anees Jung is going to see the family of Mukesh over there. He stops at the door of one such house, bangs a wobbly iron door with his foot, pushes it open. So Mukesh pushes the door open by kicking it by his foot, then they entered. When we enter a half-built shack means half-built hut. It's a cottage. Okay, it is only half-built. In one part of it, thatched with dead grass. Thatched means one part is being thatched, like hay, straws. By doing this, one part is already covered. It is being roofed. Dead grass is a firewood stove over which sits a large vessel of sizzling spinach leaves. So sizzling is a kind of frying sound of food. Spinach is a kind of leaves. So these are being fried on a big vessel, large vessel, and that smell is coming. On the ground, in large aluminium platters, platters means plate, it's a disc you can say, are more chopped vegetables are there on the plate. A frail young woman, frail is what? Very weak, looking very weak and lean. Young woman was there. She was cooking the evening meal for the whole family. Through eyes filled with smoke, she smiles. This is the real scenery in a rural life, students. If you visit the houses and the way Anees Jung is able to see the smile on the face of the daughter-in-law, the young woman in the family of Mukesh, even though it is filled with smoke, but she has a smile. She is the wife of Mukesh's elder brother, not much older in years. She has begun to command respect as the Bahu. You can get a question here. Describe the customs and values or ethics being followed by the family of Mukesh. So here, this daughter-in-law is regarded as Bahu. It's a kind of respect she gets in the family. The daughter-in-law of the house, already in charge of three men who are there. The husband of this daughter-in-law, this particular Bahu, Mukesh is there, and Mukesh's father. Her husband, Mukesh, and their father. When the older man enters, means the father of Mukesh. When he enters, she gently withdraws behind the broken wall, brings her veil closer to her face. This line is indicating one thing here, that the daughter-in-law is going to give respect the moment the elder of the family arrives. When he appears, when he arrives, it is naturally a tendency, naturally a normal rule in village area and rural areas, that when elder people are entering, daughter-in-laws particularly, they have to show respect by drawing the veil and closing her face. As custom demands, daughter-in-law must veil their faces before male elders even outline the line. In this case, the elder is an impoverished bangle maker, despite long years of hard labor. First as a tailor, then a bangle maker, he has failed to renovate a house, send his two sons to school. All he has managed to do is to teach them what he knows, the art of making bangles. So the father of Mukesh has tried his level best. He has tried his utmost, trying other options, other professions like tailoring. He thought of going to construct a house, renovating a house, thought of providing good education to his two sons, but he failed. Because I told in the beginning that anyone in bangle making industry is trying to go beyond the track, then he or she fails. So it is the possibility here, perhaps the father of Mukesh failed. So when tailoring was a failure, again he came back and he went to do the same profession, that is bangle making. In the meantime also, he was able to teach his two children bangle making only, nothing else, because this is actually the gift by God. You cannot go to throw it out. It's a kind of God-given lineage. We will come to know this line right now. It is his karam, his destiny, says Mukesh's grandmother. It is his karam, his destiny means what? It is by destiny the father of Mukesh is there to do only bangle making. Not only the father of Mukesh, people living in Firozabad, they have only this profession to make bangles, nothing else. It is his karam, his destiny, says Mukesh's grandmother, who has watched her own husband to go blind with the dust from polishing the glass of bangle. Who is his karam here? Mukesh's grandmother is talking about her husband. When he was there, he is no more right now. He went on doing this bangle making, welding and soldering glasses. He went blind with the dust from polishing the glass of bangles. Can a God-given lineage ever be broken? Can a God-given lineage ever be broken? Means, can a God-given gift, can a God-given rule or regulations or profession to the people of this Firozabad can be challenged? So nobody can challenge this profession. It's a God-given gift or lineage. So nobody can go to challenge it. It's a kind of tradition. It's a kind of profession that the forefathers, they have been doing. You can't go to deviate from this. If you do this, then you will be a failure simply. She implies the grandmother. Burn in the caste of bangle makers. They have seen nothing but bangles. Meaning is clear. In the house, in the yard, in every other house, every other yard, every street in Firozabad, spirals of bangles. Sunny gold, paddy green, royal blue, pink, purple, every color born out of the 7 colors of the rainbow. You can get a question here. What are the types of bangles normally we find in the city of Firozabad? These are varieties of colors. You can write. Lying in the mound. Mound means in heaping, in a piling way. In unkempt yards. Unkempt means untidy, not clearly clean. It is piled up. It is shipped. Where is it heaped or piled? On 4-wheeled handcarts. During that time, people are drawing their own cart. Okay, so they draw their own cart, and the cart is packed with bangles, and they move from one place to another place to do this bangle making business. Pushed by young men along the narrow lanes of the Santee town. Narrow lanes are there. Town is not quite wider enough. Okay, and the town is full of bangles only, full of bangles wherever you go. And in dark hutments, hutment means what? The huts. Okay. Or the cottage, small rooms, next to lines of flames, flickering of oil lamps. So when you go to visit Firozabad city particularly, you'll see small hutments are there, small rooms are there, and next to lines of flames, flickering of oil lamps you can see in the room, and the boys and girls are sitting with their fathers and mothers, welding glasses, pieces of bangles, colored glass into circles of bangles. So they go on doing this, sitting by their parents. Their eyes are more adjusted to the dark than to the light outside. So by doing this, sitting with their parents by the furnace and doing this bangle making years after year, their eyes are more adjusted, more connected with these dark cells, dark rooms. So when they come to light outside, they have a problem. That is why they often end up losing their eyesight before they become adults. So this is the reason for which working for years and years, sitting by the furnace and welding glasses, they go to lose their outside before they become adults. It's a tragedy, it's a misery, but they're helpless. They cannot help it. Sabita, a young girl in a drab pink dress, sits alongside an elderly woman, soldering pieces of glass. As her hands move mechanically like the tongues of a machine. Tongues of a machine means arms of a machine. When the machine goes on doing a particular duty or bringing out a product, okay, the way machine moves in a very systematic way. This girl Sabita, she is also busy soldering pieces of glass like a machine. See how professionally they are strong in doing bangle making or soldering glasses. This is only because of practice. I wonder if she knows the sanctity of the bangles she helps make. Sanctity means what? The holiness or the piousness. So if I talk about piousness or holiness or sanctity, Sabita doesn't know. Sabita is going on doing this, serving the bangle glasses. She doesn't know that a time will come one day, she will be a bahu and she will go to have these bangles. She is oblivious of all these things. Okay, she's unconscious of all these things, but she's going on doing this. It symbolizes an Indian woman's suhag, auspiciousness in marriage. So bangles are symbols of auspiciousness of marriage, or it's a symbol of suhag. Sabita is perhaps on all of these Anees Jung things. It will turn on her. It will turn on means it will fall on her. A time will come, she will become a daughter-in-law. She will become a bahu, and she will have this. And there will be a veil, she has to cover her face. A time will come in the life of Sabita. Her hands dyed red, her hands will be colored. Dyeing color will be there, red color will be there, henna color will be there. And red bangles rolled onto her wrists. So how beautifully Anees Jung talks about this bride, when a girl's become a bride and she goes to start her marital life. How does she look? She will then become a bride, like the old woman beside her who became one many years ago. She still has bangles on her wrist, but no light in her eyes. This is the irony. She goes on doing bangles, okay? And the old man sitting beside Sabita, A time was there, she was like Sabita. She got married and she also became a Bahu. But she still has bangles on her wrist, but no light in her eyes. So this particular line symbolizes uh, the helplessness of the people of Firouzabad, despondency or the misery or the grinding poverty in which they live. They have no other options. They know that we are losing our eyesight, but they still go on doing this. And this woman sitting beside Sabita, she has been suffering from this. She knows she has lost her eyesight, means she doesn't know. She doesn't know how. She has been suffering from all this, but she knows. A waqt sarv har khana bhi nahi khaya, she says, in a voice drained of joy. Who told this line? This old woman. She has not enjoyed even one full meal in her entire lifetime. That is what she has reaped. So she has harvested only one thing in his life. What is that? Not a single meal, not a full meal in her entire lifetime. That only she has reaped, she has earned in her life by doing bangle making. Remember, bangle making they are doing years after year, but economically they are very weak. Means the income source they have, it is not quite sound, very poor. Her husband, an old man with a flowing beard, says, I know nothing except bangles. All I have done is make a house for the family to live in. So, this line again indicates the same thing, that it's a God-given lineage, it's a God-given tradition to the people of Firouzabad, and if anyone is trying to go beyond this, he's simply a big failure, undoubtedly. And here this husband of this old woman also he says the same thing, that I know nothing, only I know how to make bangles. So I did it, and somehow I was able to make a house for my family to live in. Hearing him, one wonders if he has achieved what many have held in their lifetime. He has a roof over his head. So somehow a small achievement he has. Only he has got a roof over his head. And others perhaps, they have failed in doing so. Next class will continue.